I think cities are fascinating places. They are very complex brands in their own right. It's clearly not up to any one organisation to determine the essence of that brand in isolation. But I do feel that cities need to remind themselves of where they came from. So what's the heritage of the place? They need to be very clear on what their USPs are today. What is it that makes us different today? And there needs to be a sense of aspiration in the brand. Where do we want to go? The unique thing about being a city marketing agency is that we don't own anything. So we don't control the product. We want to develop new product, and part of our challenge is to bring new events into the city. Broadly speaking, we do three kinds of research. There are what you might classify as the league tables, which are secondary research that we keep an eye on. Where does Birmingham sit in the quality of life index? Where does Birmingham sit on the visitorship index? And so on. And these are very often done on an annual, if not a more frequent basis. So we keep an eye on those, but obviously we can't influence those directly. The research that we do more specifically is we track perceptions. We track perceptions across a whole series of different factors, largely lifestyle factors, and particularly those factors which relate to our campaigns. So we campaign on the cultural offering, on food, on sport, on fashion, on shopping, and so on. And then finally, the hard data, the actual visitorship. So we research how many visitors, how many bed nights, how much they spend, whether they're going to come back or not, and so on and so forth. So we research both the hard economic consequences of our activity, but also the attitudinal and perceptional views of our target audiences.
Perceptions are hugely important to us. It's what I'm measured on, it's part of my KPIs, my key performance indicators. It's the way the business is measured as well. We use a company called Taylor Nelson. Taylor Nelson go out and do like a Maury-style poll, so they'll go and speak to 1,000 people, and they'll ask those questions that you always want to be asked when you're out there on the street. They'll say, do you think Birmingham is a great place for shopping, a great place for sport, a great place for going out? We also measure other cities. And then we give them each of those a scale, so it can go from not at all through to yes, very much so, or are you likely to visit, not very likely, those sort of things. We do that every year, and we do it in January, and we do it at exactly the same weekend, so that we keep things as constant as possible. And then we can track, how the changes occur, and we can track how that compares with the campaigns. What we've noticed is as we do our lifestyle marketing campaigns, those perceptions go up. We have a research team within Marketing Birmingham, and they're tasked with several things. They're tasked at analysing how we're doing. They're tasked at looking into specific issues that we might want to investigate. They're also tasked with looking at the trends in the future and what we might be doing in 2, 3, 4 years' time. What are the things that are going to be key for people going forward? So, for example, that we know the internet age, we know that the way that people are using the web and the way that they're using particularly social interaction on the web. 2 years ago, our websites were all about buy a short break or here's some information. That's what the web did. What we're now doing, and using the forward trends and using things that are coming up in the future, we're trying to make our sites much more interactive. We want to have a conversation with the customer, and we don't mind if they say bad stuff about us, as long as it's true, fair and honest. We don't think any of the city's doing that, and they have to, because that's the way everything works at the moment. If you're going to buy a holiday, you can go onto so many different sites that will tell you whether or not the hotel's of a particular standard, or I stayed there last week and the pool was dirty, or what a great place, I can't wait to go back. We want to have that communication, and we want to have that with the customer. We're doing it now. We've just started it with our Sportal. We've got people talking sport on our website and saying, Villa are rubbish, I can't believe they didn't win last week. Blues are great, we'll bounce back. We should be buying this player. Why hasn't Edgbaston got a test match? All of that interaction. Why are we doing that? Because we anticipated that that was where the web was going and we were ready for it.